commercial driver's license is a driver's license required in the United States to operate any type of vehicle weighing more than 10,001 lb for commercial use, or transports quantities of hazardous materials that require warning placards under Department of Transportation regulations, or that is designed to transport 9 or more passengers for compensation, or 16 or more passengers, for non-compensation. This includes, but is not limited to, tow trucks, tractor-trailers, and buses. The Commercial Motor Vehicle Safety Act of 1986 was signed into law on October 27, 1986. The primary intent of the Act was to improve highway safety by ensuring that truck drivers and drivers of tractor-trailers and buses are qualified to drive commercial motor vehicles, and to remove drivers that are unsafe and unqualified from the highways. The Act continued to give states the right to issue CDLs, but the federal government established minimum requirements that must be met when issuing a CDL. Pre-1986, driving commercial motor vehicles, which are primarily tractor-trailers, requires advanced skills and knowledge above and beyond those required to drive a car or other lightweight vehicle. Before implementation of the Commercial Driver's License Program in 1986, licensing requirements for driving larger vehicles and buses varied from state to state. Many drivers were operating motor vehicles that they may not have been trained or qualified to drive. This lack of training resulted in a large number of preventable traffic deaths and accidents. Class definitions. Since April 1, 1992, when this act became law, all drivers have been required to have a CDL in order to drive a commercial motor vehicle. The Federal Highway Administration has developed testing standards for licensing drivers. U.S. states are able to issue CDLs only after a written and practical test have been given by the state or approved testing facility. A driver needs a CDL if the vehicle meets one of the following definitions of a CMV, Class A truck, any combination of vehicles with a GVWR of 26,001 or more pounds provided the GVWR of the vehicle, S, being towed is in excess of 10,000 pounds. Class B truck, any single vehicle with a GVWR of 26,001 or more pounds, or any such vehicle towing a vehicle not in excess of 10,000 pounds GVWR. Class C truck, any single vehicle, or combination of vehicles, that does not meet the definition of Class A or Class B, but is either designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver, or is placarded for hazardous materials. A state may also require a driver to have a CDL to operate certain other vehicles legally. A driver licensed in New Jersey must have a CDL to drive legally a bus, limousine, or van that is used for hire, and designed to transport 8 to 15 passengers. A driver licensed in New York must have a CDL to legally transport passengers in school buses and other vehicles listed in Article 19A of the state's Vehicle and Traffic Law. A driver licensed in California must have a CDL if their primary employment is driving, whether or not you actually drive a commercial vehicle. Basically, California defines a commercial vehicle as one that transports for hire either people or products. And possession of a CDL in California changes the threshold for a driving under the influence citation from 0.08% to 0.04% blood alcohol content. Prospective licensees should verify CDL requirements by referencing their state-specific CDL manual. The minimum age to apply for a CDL is usually 21, as required by the United States Department of Transportation, although some states allow drivers who are 18 to 20 to apply for a CDL that is valid only within the driver's state of residence. A single-state CDL only restricts driving of CMVs within the holder's state, and automatically converts to a 50-state CDL at the age of 21. Endorsements. Additional testing is required to obtain any of the following endorsements on the CDL. These can only be obtained after a CDL has been issued to the driver. T semi-trailer double or triple. Certain states prohibit triple trailers statewide, such as California, Florida, and New York. A Class A license is required to obtain the T endorsement. P passenger vehicle, S school bus, N tank truck, H hazardous materials, X combination of tank vehicle and hazardous materials, W tow truck. T, P, S, N, H index are federal endorsements. Any other endorsements have been promulgated at the state level. That is, New York DMV requires a W endorsement to legally operate a tow truck in New York. Test requirements: formal training is not mandatory to obtain a CDL. Although each state may add additional restrictions, there are national requirements in the United States. A prospective driver must pass a written test on highway safety and a test about different parts of a truck with a minimum of 30 questions on the test. To pass this knowledge test, student drivers must answer at least 80% of the questions correctly. To pass the driving skills test, the student driver must successfully perform a set of required driving maneuvers. The driving skill test must be taken in a vehicle that the driver operates or expects to operate. For certain endorsements, such as air brakes, the driving skills test must be taken in a vehicle equipped with such equipment. Testing facilities, employers, training facilities, states, governmental departments, and private institutions may be permitted to administer knowledge and driving test for the state. The test must be the same as those given by the state issuing the CDL, and the instructors must meet the same professional certification as state instructors. States are required to conduct an inspection of any testing facility and evaluates the programs by taking an actual test as if they were testing driver at least once a year, or by taking a sample of the drivers tested by the third party and then comparing pass-fail rates. In addition, the state's agreement with the third-party testing centers must allow the FMCSA and the state to conduct random examinations, inspections, and audits without notice. Medical certification: in the United States, a disproportionate number of traffic fatalities involve commercial motor vehicles. Most CMV drivers must prove they are healthy enough to safely drive a truck. A valid medical certificate must be filled out by a medical professional listed on the National Registry of Certified Medical Examiners at the conclusion of an extensive physical exam, with a copy provided to the State Bureau of Motor Vehicles Compliance Unit. Some examples of an impairment which disqualifies a driver include the inability to grasp a steering wheel or operate foot pedals, insulin use, certain cardiac and respiratory problems, markedly elevated blood pressure, epilepsy, some severe psychiatric disorders, certain color blindness, poor corrected vision in either eye, bilateral hearing loss, active alcoholism, and other conditions which significantly increase risk of an accident. See Physical Qualifications for Drivers page of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Not all medical providers are able to test and complete the medical certification form. Contents: a CDL must contain the following information: A. 1. The prominent statement that the license is a Euro commercial driver, a Euro unregistered trademark S license C Euro or a Euro OECDL, a Euro except as specified in A Section 383.153, B. A. 2. The full name, signature, and mailing address of the person to whom such license is issued. A. 3. Physical and other information to identify and describe such person, including date of birth, sex, and height. A. 4. Color photograph of the driver. A. 5. The driver, a Euro unregistered trademark S state license number. A. 6. The name of the state which issued the license. A. 7. The date of issuance and the date of expiration of the license. A. 8. The group or groups of commercial motor vehicle, S, that the driver is authorized to operate, indicated as follows: A. 8, I, A for combination vehicle. A. 8, E, B for heavy straight vehicle. And A. 8, E, C for small vehicle. A. 9, the endorsement, S, for which the driver has qualified, if any, indicated as follows: A. 9, I, T for double triple trailers. A. 9, E, P for passenger. A. 9, E, N for tank vehicle. A. 9, If, H for hazardous materials. A. 9, V, X for a combination of the tank vehicle and hazardous materials endorsements. A. 9, Y, S for school bus. And A. 9, V, at the discretion of the state, additional codes for additional groupings of endorsements, as long as each such discretionary code is fully explained on the front or back of the CDL document. B. If the CDL is a non-resident CDL, it shall contain the prominent statement that the license is a non-resident commercial driver a unregistered trademark S license C or a non-resident CDL a the word a non-resident must be conspicuously and unmistakably displayed, but may be non-contiguous with the words a OE commercial driver a unregistered trademark S license C or a OE CDL a C. If the state has issued the applicant an air brake restriction as specified in A Section 383.95, that restriction must be indicated on the license. CDLIS Clearinghouse, the Commercial Driver's License Information System and the National Driver Register exchange information on traffic convictions and driver disqualifications of commercial drivers. States have to use both CDLIS and NDR to check a driver's record before a CDL can be issued. To gain permission to access to the CDLIS and NDR databases, one should visit the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Technical Support website for instructions on how this information is accessed and who can access it. Trucking companies can use a commercial service that has clearance for providing this information as a means of screening prospective employees. If convicted while driving a CMV, driving without a CDL, or suspended CDL, incurs a civil penalty of up to $2,500 or, in aggravated cases, criminal penalties of up to $5,000 in fines and/or up to 90 days in prison. An employer is also subject to a penalty of up to $10,000 if they knowingly permit a driver to operate a CMV without a valid CDL. Two or more serious traffic violations, including excessive speeding, reckless driving, improper or erratic lane changes, following the vehicle ahead too closely, and traffic offenses in connection with fatal traffic accidents, within a 3-year period, a 90-day to 5-year suspension. One or more violations of a motor vehicle declared out of service order within a 10-year period, 1-year suspension. Driving under the influence of a controlled substance or alcohol, or leaving the scene of an accident, or using a CMV to commit a felony, 3-year suspension. Any of the 1-year offenses while operating a CMV for hazardous materials or second offense of any of the 1-year or 3-year offenses, or using a CMV to commit a felony involving manufacturing, distributing, or dispensing controlled substances, life suspension. States can reduce certain lifetime disqualifications to a minimum disqualification period of 10 years if the driver completes a driver rehabilitation program approved by the state. Not all states do this. It is available in Idaho and New York State but not California or New Jersey. If a CDL holder is disqualified from operating a CMV, they cannot be issued a conditional, or hardship CDL, but can continue to drive non-commercial vehicles. Any convictions are reported to the driver's home state and Federal Highway Administration, and these convictions are treated the same as convictions for violations that are committed in the home state. The Commercial Driver's License Program collects and stores all convictions a driver receives and transmits this data to the home state so that any disqualification or suspension can be applied. The FHWA has established 0.04% as the blood alcohol concentration level at or above which a CMV driver is deemed to be driving under the influence of alcohol and subject to lose his/her CDL. Additionally, an operator of a CMV that is found to have any detectable amount of BAC above 0.0% will be put out of service for a minimum of 24 hours. A driver must report any driving conviction within 30 days, except parking, to their employer regardless of the nature of the violation. Employers must be notified if a driver's license is suspended, revoked, or cancelled. The notification must be made by the end of the next business day following receipt of the notice of the suspension, revocation, cancellation, lost privilege or disqualification. Employers cannot under any circumstances use a driver who has more than one license or whose license is suspended, revoked or cancelled, or is disqualified from driving. Violation of this requirement may result in civil or criminal penalties. CDL training in the United States. In the United States, Training may be obtained by completing a qualified CDL training program through a truck driving school. These training programs specialize in teaching potential truck drivers the necessary skills and knowledge to properly and safely operate a truck, including map reading, trip planning, and compliance with U.S. Department of Transportation laws, as well as backing, turning, hooking a trailer, and road driving. The overall purpose of these training schools is to help truckers to be past the CDL knowledge and skills test, as well as advanced driving techniques such as skid avoidance and recovery and other emergency actions for situations such as a breakaway trailer and hydroplaning. These classes usually go well beyond the training the typical non-commercial driver receives, such as the driver's education provided in high school. There are a number of licensed CDL training schools around the United States, and many trucking companies operate their own schools as well. United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, the PCV license enables the holder to drive buses and/or minibuses, subject to what kind of practical driving test the license holder passes. Category C plus E vehicles over 3,500 kg with a trailer over 750 kg, also known as large goods vehicle, normal max gross weight 44,000 kg, minimum age 21. 17 if in the armed forces, and now 18 if you meet certain requirements regarding CPC. Category D1 allows the holder to drive a vehicle with between 9 and 16 passenger seats with a trailer up to 750 kg maximum authorized mass. Category D1 plus E allows the holder to drive a vehicle with between 9 and 16 passenger seats with a trailer over 750 kg maximum authorized mass, provided that the maximum authorized mass of the trailer does not exceed the unladen mass of the vehicle being driven, and the combined maximum authorized mass of both the vehicle and trailer does not exceed 12 t. For example, a vehicle with an unladen mass of 2650 kg and a MAM of 4005 kg, with a trailer MAM of 2200 kg will give a combined MAM of 6205 kg. But the unladen mass of the vehicle being driven is greater than the MAM of the trailer, so is acceptable. However, a vehicle with an unladen mass of 2650 kg and a MAM of 4005 kg, with a trailer MAM of 2700 kg will give a combined MAM of 6705 kg, but because the MAM of the trailer exceeds the unladen weight of the vehicle being driven, you would need a Category D plus E license to drive that vehicle. Category D allows the holder to drive a vehicle with more than 8 passenger seats with a trailer up to 750 kg maximum authorized mass. Category D plus E allows the holder to drive a vehicle with more than 8 passenger seats with a trailer over 750 kg maximum authorized mass. Australia. All places in Australia have a mostly similar driver license system, although some things can change in each state or territory. Australian license classes. C car. A Class C license covers vehicles up to 4.5 tons gross vehicle mass. GVM is the maximum recommended weight a vehicle can be when loaded. A Class C license allows the holder to drive cars, utilities, vans, some light trucks, car-based motor tricycles, tractors and implements such as graders. You can also drive vehicles that seat up to 12 adults, including the driver. R-Rider. Motorcycle riders require a Class A license. LR Light Rigid. Class LR covers a rigid vehicle with a GVM of more than 4.5 tons but not more than 8 tons. Any towed trailer must not weigh more than 9 tons GVM. This class also includes vehicles with a GVM up to 8 tons which carry more than 12 adult, including the driver, and vehicles in Class C. Mr. Medium Rigid. Class Mr. covers a rigid vehicle with 2 axles and a GVM of more than 8 tons. Any towed trailer must not weigh more than 9 tons GVM. This class also includes vehicles in Class LR. HR Heavy Rigid. Class HR covers a rigid vehicle with 3 or more axles and a GVM of more than 8 tons. Any towed trailer must not weigh more than 9 tons GVM. This class also includes articulated buses and vehicles in Class Mr. HC Heavy Combination. This license covers heavy combination vehicles like a prime mover towing a semi-trailer, or rigid vehicles towing a trailer with a GVM of more than 9 tons. This class also includes vehicles in Class HR. MC Multi-Combination. This license covers multi-combination vehicles like road trains and B-double vehicles. It also includes vehicles in Class HC. Medical standards. The medical standards for drivers of commercial vehicles are set by the National Transport Commission and Austroads, and are set out in assessing fitness to drive. For those applying for heavy vehicle license classes Mr., HR, HC or MC, it is strongly recommended that the applicant ensure they meet the medical requirements before commencing any training or tests for a heavy vehicle license. Paying passengers. The driver of a vehicle carrying paying passengers requires an appropriate driver license and a public passenger vehicle driver authority which is issued by the Ministry of Transport. New Zealand. In New Zealand, driver licensing is controlled by the New Zealand Land Transport Safety Authority. Broadly there are 6 classes of motor vehicle license. Class 1 governs vehicles with a GLW less than 6,000 kg, and Class 6 governs motorcycles. Classes 2 and Euro 5 govern heavy vehicles. A Class 2 license allows the holder to drive any rigid vehicle with a GLW of more than 6,000 kg but less than 18,001 kg, any combination vehicle with a GCW of 12,000 kg or less, any combination vehicle consisting of a rigid vehicle with a GLW of 18,000 kg or less towing a light trailer, any rigid vehicle with a GLW of more than 18,000 kg that has no more than 2 axles, any vehicle covered in Class 1. Class 3 allows the holder to drive any combination vehicle with a GCW of more than 12,000 kg but less than 25,001 kg, any vehicle covered in Classes 1 and 2. Class 4 allows the holder to drive any rigid vehicle with a GLW of more than 18,000 kg, any combination vehicle consisting of a rigid vehicle with a GLW of more than 18,000 kg towing a light trailer, vehicles covered in Classes 1 and 2, but not Class 3. Class 5 allows the holder to drive any combination vehicle with a GCW of more than 25,000 kg, vehicles covered by Classes 1, 2, 3 and 4. Before getting a Class 2 license, a driver must be at least 18 years of age and have held an unrestricted Class 1 license for at least 6 months. Gaining a Class 5 is not dependent on holding a Class 3. Once a driver has a Class 2 they can progress straight through to Class 4 and Class 5. Each progression requires having held an unrestricted license of the preceding class for at least 6 months. For drivers aged 25 or over, the minimum period for holding the unrestricted time is reduced to 3 months, or waived entirely on completion of an approved course of instruction. Additional endorsements on an NZ driver's license govern provision of special commercial services. The endorsements are, D. Dangerous goods, transporting hazardous substances. Must be renewed every 5 years, F. Forklift operator, I. Driving instructor. An I endorsement is awarded for a specific class of license, for example 5I, O, testing officer, driving assessors who test a person prior to being granted a particular class of license, P, passenger, transport of fare-paying passengers, R, roller, special vehicle equipped with rollers, T, tracks, special vehicle equipped with tracks, V, vehicle recovery, operating a tow truck, W, wheels, special vehicle equipped with wheels, other than fire appliances, buses, tractors, vehicle recovery vehicles, or trade vehicles. The F, R, T and W endorsements are for operating special types of vehicle on the road. Where the holder also has a heavy vehicle license, they are permitted to drive heavy special vehicles. Otherwise the limits for Class 1 apply. Being granted I, O, P and or V endorsement requires that the applicant pass a fit and proper person check, to screen for people with criminal convictions or serious driving infringements. These endorsements are issued for 1 or 5 years, at the option of the applicant at the time of purchase. See also, Commercial Driver's License Information System, Truck Classification, Trucking Industry in the United States, Owner a Euro Operator Independent Drivers Association, References. External links, Department of Transportation, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, Department of Transport Driver and Vehicle Services, NZLTSA Licensing Information page.